Are you ready? Did you light the candle? Okay, let's start the ritual. Welcome to Intuitively Wild, the podcast. I'm your host, Rachel. This is a space where truth gets its voice back because shame loses its power when we speak to it. Here, we don't skip the hard parts. We sit with them, and we learn to hold ourselves inside them. This podcast is ritual in audio form, a way for us to bring intention and intuition back into our everyday. Let's dig into our roots and go deep. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Intuitively Wild, the podcast, and welcome to a very, very, very special edition of the podcast. I knew as the year was coming to a close that I wanted to do a really special Reflections of 2025 episode, but I didn't quite know how I wanted to do it. I didn't want it to just be myself sharing my own reflections or my own compilation of assumptions of people's reflections or just what I've noticed and observed. And I also didn't want to just bring on one guest. That also didn't feel quite right. I wanted to bring the community into it. I wanted to bring you guys into it. I really wished that I could just pass around the mic as I walked about life and, recorded people all over the world and had them share their reflections on here. But in lieu of that, because that is a huge production and maybe next year, in lieu of that, I sent out a big message to some really close family and friends, some acquaintances, some neighbors, some mentors, teachers. I asked on Instagram, and I just asked people what their biggest lesson or reflection from 2025 was. And I've compiled the list, and I have it here, and I'm going to read it to everyone. And I'm keeping everything anonymous. I'm pretty much just keeping people's words exactly as they said it. Some people sent me a voice note, so I've used the transcription. So if I trip over my words a little bit, please excuse me, because, transcriptions aren't always perfect. Some people sent paragraphs, some people sent one word, and all of it was perfect. A lot of people said that they needed some more time to think about it, and I have grown impatient and I'm ready to record this now. So to those people, I'm sorry. Please still send me what you wrote, and maybe I'll compile a longer list and put it on Substack or share it somewhere else. I also didn't want this to be too long, but people were really, really excited, honestly. I got pretty much everyone met me with so much excitement around this, and a lot of people responded right away or just took a couple of hours to respond, and that gave me a lot of excitement. One, because I love inspiring people to reflect. I love people's willingness, and I love people's generosity with their vulnerability and their reflections. And it just inspired me to do more of this. I really hope to bring more community collective things onto the podcast. Obviously, with the opening of the space, that's one of my main intentions. I hope that ripples out into all my other work as well. But I really hope you find yourself among these. I hope these help spark some of your own deeper reflections and process some of your own lessons and allow you to feel connected and supported and grounded. Honestly, this seemed, and these responses only confirmed the fact that this was a pivotal year for many of us, a turning point, a shifting, an in-between year. And it felt like for a lot of people, change was a theme and this shedding. And I can't wait to see what this shedding is paving the way for to come in its place in 2026. I think that in 2026, we're going to look back and be like, oh, all that change, all that transformation this past year, this 2025 happened so that 2026 could happen. So I'm really, really excited. And let's just get right into it. I have the list here. I'm just going to read it, and we will go from there. I do want to say that it's like 6:30 in the morning. The sun is starting to rise. The ground still has frost on it, and that this feels like a perfect time to be here with you guys reading this list. So you're with me in I hope we're snuggled together in the cold. Okay, first person. This person had two. The first was, family and community are critically important to life meaning, purpose, and happiness. And the second, believe in yourself. Next person. My biggest reflection is that life changes so quickly, and it's important to really be present and take in every moment. We can be so busy looking forward to and planning the next thing, and once we get there is often when we realize all of the amazing and beautiful parts of the last chapter. I want to enjoy the chapter I'm in while I'm in it for 2026. Next person. Comparison is the thief of joy. Number 4. I would say by far and away, the biggest reflection or lesson that I have learned from 2025 would be the skill of checking in before making a decision. Through 2025, I really learned how important it is to make decisions based off of what I truly want. What will bring me joy? What will bring me sustenance? Meaning sustenance in many different ways. Rather than making decisions based off fear or the lack of boundaries or what I think other people want to hear from me, but truly base it off of what I want. And through learning that and through practicing making those decisions, I found that I enjoy my life a lot more. My relationships are deeper and more meaningful, and everything has been enriched in that way because I'm showing my authentic self through that. I'm meeting my own authentic self in those moments. I'm allowing other people to meet my authentic self and vice versa. I'm not writing it for them. I'm not writing the script. I'm not assuming. I'm meeting them and allowing them to fill in the blank for them to finish the sentence. So yes, I would say making decisions based off of my authenticity and checking in, taking the time to check in on whether or not something is aligned with my authenticity rather than making assumptions. Easy for me. Life circumstances change, especially as you get older. Try to appreciate and look forward to your next season and never take for granted good health and the people whom you love. Next, it was a year of transition, but very exciting. Understanding which decisions are good to make slowly or quickly is a life lesson. When I reflect on this past year, 2025, my first thought is that it has been a difficult year. It's been particularly challenging because of health issues related to my children. As a mother, there are few things more concerning than the health and well-being of your children. What also stands out as I reflect on this year is how grateful I am for the relationships I've enjoyed with my closest family and friends, and grateful for the many opportunities I've had this year to travel. I try to handle my worries with the support of my family and friends and work on staying active with travel because it is something I love and it's a great outlet for me. The biggest lesson I learned this year was to not mistake a season for a cycle, which is from Janelle Roberts. It reminds me not to see a temporary moment as a permanent pattern. Some struggles or successes are just seasons. They pass. A cycle, though, is something I repeat. So when things feel heavy or uncertain, I remind myself, this is just a season, not my forever. This year has brought many profound lessons and meaningful experiences. One consistent theme has been the inevitability and importance of change. Change has allowed for emotional and spiritual growth in ways that feel transformative and for which I have an abundance of gratitude. Learning how to embody more gratitude and curiosity, openness and courage, and be less limited by fear as this relates to changes and transitions. This has been a beautiful gift I cherish from this year. This person started with a quote, "No one can do it for you, and you're not meant to do it alone." Meaning, nobody can tell me my path or offer the truest answers to my deepest questions about life, love, or purpose. These are living inquiries, and within these questions is the precious invitation to be fully alive. So is my devotional and joyful path to live out these heartfelt questions with gratitude and embrace and allow the dynamic dance of life, healing, remembering. It is my responsibility to choose in each moment what feels like the way. And we're not meant to do it alone. That was never Spirit's intention. We are human beings who are interconnected for a reason, just like nature, just like a garden. My path is indeed mine to walk, and to honor life fully is to embrace that this walk is one that is supported and made much more inspiring and enjoyable with others. To open my heart, learn and listen to the sprinkles of intuition that can come through relationship, plants, animals, humans. You can't change something that isn't yours, no matter how much you value it. At a point, it amounts to self-harm aside from the futility, a double negative. Learn to rest, not quit. I guess I'm continuing to learn that you can't force or rush things. Trying to live life 10 steps ahead is a waste of energy. A lot can change in just a year, or even a matter of weeks, so it's best to take things as they come. Also, letting go of what you think your life should look like allows space for your life to unfold organically. You learn a lot about who you actually are when you stop trying so hard. Also, keep reading books. Yes, always read books. In 2025, I learned my body has to come first before everything else. I think I really took for granted just how easy movement was when I lived in the city. And also, I'm not old by any means, but there are definitely things that I'm encountering now that I'm in my 30s that I'm like, I need to be really supporting my body in more consistent ways. And I have to do it first before I tend to anyone else, any of my work, my family, my partner, anything. My body has to come first. And shifting that perspective of my priority is rippling out into how I manage my time and the rituals that I engage with every single day. Health and physical health has always been a very important part of my life, but I think it's just shifting. This year really showed me how it will shift with age, and because of that, as my body evolves, I have to evolve with it, and how I take care of it has to evolve as well. Biggest reflection or lesson? I feel is overarching, but the first thing that came to mind is change is the only constant. And I know that saying can be overdone. It can be frustrating to hear. Nobody likes that. No one likes to think that things are going to change. But I found a lot of comfort in the fact that things will change, even if I don't like the change that's happening. I'm over this year more than I ever have been. I'm finding comfort in the fact that things change. There are bright spots, and even though things feel really hard right now, they're going to change. My biggest lesson is that change is the constant. And if someone, a person, anyone can find acceptance in that, it can actually be really, really, really comforting. This next person sent me the most beautiful, fully written blog post in response that they had written for something else as well. And so I tried to take some parts of it that felt most relevant for this and also kept it cohesive, but maybe they will share the full thing with us at a later date. So, I recently learned about the tree of 40 fruits. When I first stumbled on the surreal fact of its majestic existence, I thought surely it was a fallacy. When I searched for more information, this plentiful fantasy morphed from mirage to material, and I learned that yes, there is in fact a tree that bears 40 different kinds of fruit at once. An artist and naturalist named Sam Von Aken has lovingly and painstakingly created the marvelous arbor through a years-long grafting process in which branches from stone fruit trees are grafted onto a host tree, in the end bearing, you guessed it, 40 fruits. The grafting process has a high failure rate. Many branches never bear fruit, and the ones that do take many years to mature. But once they do, dear God, what a marvel she becomes. Her blossoms are kaleidoscopic. A mosaic of baby pink, fuchsia, bright white, and bubblegum blooms gives way to sumptuous stone fruit, bringing this miracle of creation to fruition, literally. Grafting has always been a crucial component of sustaining Earth's most rarefied, luscious, ambrosial offerings. To truly live in the realm of the sublime, we must participate. We must join hands with the divine and create. The gods give us glimmers, but if we want to live a truly glimmering life, it's on us to notice and exalt them, to do the hard work of integrating and perpetuating them. For me, this has been a grafting year. At its tail end, I find myself somewhat raw and vulnerable, eager to mend the breaks and breathe new life, eager to see my naked branches blossom and bear luscious, ripe, abundant fruit. I'm nowhere near harvest season, but I can feel its promise firing through my neurons, from the tip of my fragile branches to my subterranean roots. I insist on co-creating a life so beautiful and surreal that it's hard to believe. I insist on the succulence and perpetual delight of a miracle well savored. I insist upon my own abundant fruition. If we want to live a miraculous life, then we'd better get grafting. I have chills. Next person. Rest is not only important, but it's also spiritual and creative. Through rest, I find more space for myself, my work, and recharging to show up as my best self. I often take on a lot because I love what I do and my life, but just because I love my work, I need to still learn to prioritize rest so that work can still feel nourishing. My biggest reflections and lessons of 2025 is that you are never tied to who you are and supposed to be according to who you are now. I feel like 4 years ago, I wanted and was the girl struggling. And then I was a fun party girl. And then I'm who I am now. I would say life is always changing, and if you do not like who you are or or the current trajectory, that is okay. You do not ever have to force yourself or feel committed to being who you are right now. You can always change it and live a million lives in one life. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is that there's a reward that comes with not trying to rush through whatever season of life you're in, and celebrating your purpose in this specific season. I've been learning so much about being patient with myself. So as you can see, there's definitely a big theme of change. Change is the constant, and letting us be in this season we're in and really being present with it. Which honestly brings me to my main reflection and lesson, and honestly, I'm sure will continue to evolve, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I've had many lessons and reflections, as I tend to do in each moment. And at first I was thinking mine was going to be around trust or the spiral of life or our healing or timing or following our path. And I kept coming back to this really strong emphasis around the importance of self-connection and embodied self-knowledge. And then I thought it was going to be around simplicity. But however, at the core, they kept coming back to one root. And even though I originally thought that was simplicity, it actually distilled into something slightly different. Because when I was saying simplicity, I think I really meant truth. When I was saying come back to simplicity, really focus on simplicity, really return to simplicity, and that allow that to return you to your center, to your path, I think I really meant truth. For me, this year has shown me the importance of really getting to the truth, to like the true essence of life, of shutting out the noise and finding the rituals and the ways to reconnect to truth. Coming back to what is really at the core, what is really the essence. And this can be applied to all situations. When overwhelmed or overthinking, when needing to make decisions, when feeling judged or ashamed or like a failure or sad or doubtful or hopeless, when on social media, when getting caught up in the shoulds, when hearing other people tell you what to do and not knowing who you are, when out in the world, it's just like, what is the truth of this situation? What is the true core essence? And for me, when I can come back to the truth, which is often just a feeling, when I can come back to that, the truth of the situation or life at large, I can come back to a sense of connection. I can come back to a sense of grounding. I can come back to myself, and I can walk my path from there. And then I feel like that ripples out into everything else. Then I feel like I'm connected to my intuition. I'm connected to my purpose. Then I feel like I know myself deeper. Then I feel like I can really listen to others and be connected to others. Then I feel like I'm more accepting of trust and my timing and my healing and the spiral of it all. When I stay connected to truth, that energy, that essence of the situation of life, when I can connect to that truth at the core of my being, then I feel confident walking my path. Then I can know I am walking my path. I can know that I'm walking connected to something greater than myself. I'm connecting to truth. And of course, maybe sometimes truth is always evolving, and maybe I'll look back next year and have a completely different perspective on what I thought truth was. But for me right now, I feel connected. I feel like I can connect to that essence of truth and trust that that will walk me forward. Especially in this year, in times of change and transformation and unknowns, uncertainty, fear, staying connected to that truth, I feel like that's what this year has brought me to. And that was not something I was necessarily as focused on in the beginning of the year. But I feel like all my other lessons have kind of led me here. I hope that makes sense. I feel like that thought has recently come to me and is starting to settle more in my mind. But yeah, that's our list. As I said, as we speak, I just got another one, but I don't want to mess up this recording and look at it. So there are definitely still more rolling in. But I'm so grateful to everyone who so graciously shared. And I hope that for everyone else, this continues to deepen your thoughts and your connection to yourself. I would love to hear your responses to this, both how you liked the sharing of everyone's reflections and also just what I brought up for you personally. So yeah, I saw myself in truly every single one of these responses. And again, I think that connects to coming back to truth. The truth is, as humanity, as humans, we're all connected. And at our core, we have more in common than we do that disconnects us. So I think when we can focus on that truth, on that essence of each of our core as a human, as a spirit, we can be reminded of that. And I think that that's a really important reminder that we will all need walking into this next year. So coming back to the truth that there's goodness in all of us, there's connection, similarity in all of us. So yeah, I hope that you take that with you. Maybe I will do another one of these in a similar fashion for our intentions of 2026. We shall see. But I am really hopeful that 2026 will be a really nourishing year, a really transformative year. Again, I think 2025 was a year of change and shedding, releasing, kind of excavating it all, letting our trees grow bare, so to speak. And 2026 is a year for, I think it will look different for all of us. Maybe some of us, our fruits will start to bud. Maybe some of them, they'll start to fully bloom or bear fruit. Maybe some of them we're still shedding. But I think for all of us, we'll start to see what's coming to fill the empty space. I think for all of us, we'll start to feel a little bit more connected, a little bit more clear. At least I hope. But what I can say for certain is that for all of us, this year will bring exactly what it's meant to. And as long as we can still continue to stay connected to ourselves, to others, to nature, to that truth, we can walk our path with confidence that we're on the right path. So, okay, everyone, happy holidays, happy New Year, and I will see you next time in 2026 for more magic. Thank you so much for being here. I do just want to say one last thing. Actually, 2026 will be the year that Intuitively Wild opens its doors in upstate New York, and I just hope that we can all come together and share more reflections and lessons and times of change and challenge together in person, and actually pass along the mic to each other in this way and have more in-depth, detailed, vulnerable conversations together, and process and heal and integrate and take action and embody our intentions together and really help each other, support each other through that in person. So stay tuned for all of that. I can't wait to share more. And I know I couldn't do this without the support I have from my people around me. So thank you for being one of them. Okay, now I'm done. I will see you next time for more magic. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Intuitively Wild, the podcast. I hope it helped deepen your connection to yourself, sparked some insights, and inspired you to live intuitively wild. If you enjoyed this podcast, it would mean so much to me if you would share it with others and leave a rating and review. And please reach out to me. I would love to connect with you. I will see you next time for more magic.